Her phone lit up. A second account. A name I didn't recognize. I told myself it was nothing. A work profile, a mistake, some boring explanation I'd feel silly for asking about. I clicked anyway. And in the next 30 seconds, 9 years of my life became something I didn't recognize either. I sat there on the couch we'd picked out together in the apartment my parents owned on a Sunday afternoon in April. And I read every word, every single word. And I already knew. Before I even scrolled down, I already knew exactly what this was. We'd been together almost 9 years, married for nearly 2. I was 30, she was 28. And I thought, I genuinely believed that we had built something real. She wasn't just my wife. She was the person I had reorganized my life around. I worked hard, harder than I needed to because I wanted things to be good for us. I supported her financially when she needed it. When she talked about starting her own business, I didn't just encourage her, I helped her build it. Time, money, energy, whatever she needed. I trusted her completely. That's not a small thing to say. Complete trust is rare. Most people hold something back, keep one eye open. I didn't. I was all in. Our apartment was calm, quiet in a way I liked. We had routines, Sunday mornings, the way we'd move around each other in the kitchen without having to talk much. I thought that was intimacy. I thought that easy silence meant we were solid. Looking back, I can see things I explained away. A certain distance. A phone she kept face down. Nights where she seemed somewhere else even when she was sitting right next to me. But I didn't build a case out of those things. I told myself I was imagining it. I told myself that's just what long relationships feel like after a while. You stop being fireworks and you become furniture, and that's okay. That's normal. That's what staying looks like. I was proud of her the morning this happened. That's the part that still gets me. Sunday, April 12th, I woke up proud of the woman I had married. By that afternoon, I was reading messages she had sent to other men, messages with photos attached, hotel names I recognized from our own city. The second Instagram account wasn't hidden the way you'd expect. There was no elaborate password, no secret app buried in a folder. It was just there. Visible if you happened to look at the right moment on the right device, which I did. I don't remember exactly what made me look more closely. Some small thing. A notification that appeared and disappeared too fast. I'm not even sure it matters now. What matters is that I looked. The account had a different name, a version of her name, but not her name. The profile photo was her. That hit me first. She wasn't hiding her face. She wasn't pretending to be someone else entirely. She was just living a different life in the same body, with the same face. And apparently she wasn't worried enough about me finding it to even obscure herself properly. I scrolled. I kept scrolling. The messages went back further than our marriage, further than our engagement. Years of this. Multiple men, not just flirting. I want to be precise here, because I think people sometimes imagine the worst, and the truth is still worse than that. She had been meeting some of them. Hotels. She had communicated things to these men that I thought were only mine. I sat there for a long time before I said anything. I don't know how long. Time stopped working correctly. When I finally confronted her, she admitted some of it. That was almost worse than a flat denial. The way she measured out what to confess, like she was still calculating. She tried to compress the timeline, make it seem more recent, less extensive, but I had already seen the dates. I had already read enough. There was no version of the truth she could hand me that would be smaller than what I had found. I didn't yell. I want to say that clearly, not because I think I deserve credit for it, but because I want you to understand the kind of quiet that had settled over me by then. It wasn't calm, it was the opposite of calm. It was the total absence of any feeling I recognized. Like my body had decided to stop processing until further notice. I told her I wanted a divorce. She didn't fight it, not really. And somehow that was its own kind of answer. 9 years. And she didn't fight it. I went back to look at the account one more time that night. I don't know why. Maybe I was still hoping I'd misread something. Maybe part of me needed the confirmation to be permanent, needed to make sure the door to denial was fully closed. It was closed. There were messages in there from the week of our wedding anniversary. That's the detail I keep coming back to. Not because it's the worst thing I found, but because of the specific arithmetic of it. What I was doing on those days, what I was feeling, what I thought we were building, and what was happening at the same time in a world she had constructed entirely without me. She had sent a message to one of them on a night I remembered, a night I had thought was a good night for us. I had thought we were fine, we were not fine. She moved out the next day. The apartment is my parents', so there was no argument about that. She packed some things and left. And then Monday came and I drove to her shop to collect some belongings and we didn't even speak. Just logistics over text, like two strangers coordinating a handoff. She messaged me that evening, said she missed me, said she knew I couldn't sleep. She was right about that. But I read it and I put the phone down and I didn't respond. Because there is nothing to say that would not cost me more than I'm willing to spend right now. That night I cooked dinner. Just for myself. Ate alone in that quiet apartment. And it felt strange. Not devastating, not dramatic. Just strange. The way the first hour of any completely different life tends to feel. I've spoken to a few lawyers now. I'm not rushing, but I'm moving. I gave myself a week before reaching back out to discuss next steps. Not for her, but because I know that decisions made in the first 48 hours of something like this tend to be the ones you have to undo later. I told my parents. I told a small circle of people I trust. I called her mother because she deserved to hear it from me before she heard a managed version from someone else. She was shocked. She asked me to consider forgiveness. I told her that my goal isn't to destroy anyone. It's to leave with my dignity intact. If things stay truthful and respectful, I'll keep things quiet. If they don't, I won't stay silent. That's the only promise I made. I'm also getting tested. I'm handling that practically the way I'm trying to handle everything now, one step, then the next step, then the one after that. What I know is this. I gave her everything I had. I wasn't perfect, but I was all in, completely and genuinely all in. And she made a different choice. For years, she made that choice. That's not something I caused. That's not something I could have fixed. Tonight, the apartment is quiet. It's a different kind of quiet than it used to be. I'm still learning the difference. If you were in my shoes, if you saw what I saw that day, what would you have done? Would you have walked out that night? Or stayed and said nothing until morning? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. And if this story hit too close to home, subscribe. I've got more like it.